If you bark during this show, I'm going to kick your ass. All right. Ready to go? Good to go?
Yep.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
And welcome to the Lost in the Wild podcast. We're on episode 4 of this one. And guess what? Still winless on the episode Lost in the Wild podcast. We're 4 into them. Still have yet to talk about, celebrate, or even just acknowledge the fact that we've won a hockey game.
We got a point.
8 losses in a row.
We got a point against
We
Dallas.
I was at the game. We did get a point. I actually was even walking up the stairs after the turnover because I just knew that was going to be it, and that was painful to watch in person. But yeah, 8 in a row we've lost, and latest news. Well, there's a new coach in town. Mike Yeo is out. New coach in town for the Wild. We said it. Last week we said we didn't buy Fletcher. That buys Fletcher's take that Yeo's job is safe, and I mean the writing was on the wall there. Something's got to give. I mean, it's another topic on its own, but Fletcher's clock could be starting to tick as well. So, yeah, new coach in town. That is the story of the day so far.
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of sad to hear from Mike Yeo. I think he's a quality NHL coach, but good for our podcast because I don't know how many episodes or broadcasts you can do only talking about losses. It kind of stings a little bit. Yeah, sad to hear about Mike Yeo. I think he'll find a job probably in the off season as a head coach somewhere. He's proven that he's a head coach. You take a team to the playoffs 3 years in a row. This is the first time that's been done in franchise history. He's won 2 playoff series. That's a big deal. Couldn't get past those Blackhawks, but I think the move needed to happen. I think it was important. I think that was a big issue. I think even though some of the players admitted that the onus kind of fell on them, I think they knew that they needed a different voice, a change of pace in the locker room, and I think Torchetti can bring that. Just to get the ball rolling here, and maybe I'm just brimming with optimism now because of, for once, a change has been made in the first time, in a month. But the last time Minnesota hired an AHL head coach, he led the team to 3 straight playoff appearances. So maybe this is the start of something good. I don't know. I hope so.
I hope so too. We've been hearing from him for telling in the local media at least that it's accountability. And that's what he's going to bring here. And got 29 games to do it. If he can turn things around, I think if he gets the Wild into the playoffs, I know we talked about if a couple of weeks ago that if Mike Yeo and the Wild are swept or even exited of a first round loss, that's probably right on the wall for Yeo. I think if Torch gets the team to the playoffs, I think he stays. And I know as of right now, I don't think the plan is to have Torch as your head coach probably next season. But if he can turn things around, I think he will be rewarded with the keys of the car and the interim tag slid off there.
Yeah, I agree with you that I think if he makes the playoffs, he'll get a deal. However, I do know that he was holding out for an NHL head coaching job. That he did have offers, and he chose to stay with Iowa. So that he could kind of vet himself as a head coach and then take that chance. A lot of people think he's capable of doing so. He's done so on an intern basis with Florida. The last time he did so was in 2006 with the LA Kings. I don't know. He's coached 12 players that are currently on the Wild roster. So, it's not like he has to totally familiarize himself with the players. Iowa plays a pretty similar system. He's also led the Wild the Baby Wild rather, to a 10-7-1 record, which isn't anything to scoff at, but compared to how bad they've been, that's an improvement. And especially with the Wild's recent stretch, I think anyone would be quite happy with a 10-7-1 record right now.
Oh yeah, just a win to start it. That would be great.
Just a
8 in a
win.
row the Wild have lost, and yeah, well, I like that he brings accountability. It sounds like he's clearly not really, and I'm going to use this word like loosely because it doesn't really exist too much in the hockey world, but he doesn't really seem like a player's coach, as in the fact that he's not going to pat you on the back for everything. He'll let you know. He's a little bit more stern than I think Mike Yeo is. I think that's safe to assume. And I mean, just when Michael Russo was doing his reporting on the firing and stuff and the new hiring of Torch, the fact when he said he walked into a room and he was given Eric Hall a talk. I mean, and that could do huge, and Russo mentioned it too. That could just do monumental things for a guy like Eric Halla, to really just kind of take the keys and run with it and need just a new voice on the team. I mean, I think it was safe that Yo didn't see eye to eye with some players. I think every coach isn't going to see eye to eye with every single one of the players in the locker room.
Of course
But
not.
but
Of course not.
the fact he could, if those little pep talks to Eric Halla or a Jason Pominville, a veteran. I mean, two opposite spectrums, but a Mikhail Granlund too. If the voice can be the spark of a difference, it really could.
Well, I don't think that it was. I mean, the Hala pep talk that Russo tweeted out, I think was obviously kind of an important change. Hala's not only is Hala going from being in the doghouse to hey, it's okay, clean slate. Now it's, hey, I'm counting on you to get these two guys out of a slump. The line combo said he's going to be centering Nino and Palmer tonight. So to give him that responsibility and show him that faith that you have, yeah, that could restore some confidence. I really like the line combos for tonight. I feel like Yo never could really figure out what to do with his third or fourth lines. So I really like Vanek on that second line. I feel like he's too dangerous. I know he blew the Dallas line change in overtime, and a lot of people harp on him because he doesn't play defense, but that's not who he is. But if you give him second line minutes and offensive starts, I mean, the guy's going to put the puck in the net. I mean, it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. He's second on the team in goals. Every player on this team's been in a slump. I like him on that line with Granlund and Zucker. So that could be an interesting. I like that line. I like the changeup. I really wish he would put Dumbo with Suter instead of Spurgeon, but I mean, you can't always get what you want, I suppose. The Riley Foley pairing is interesting.
Love that.
Do you
Love that. I'm not. I've said I'm not a huge Christian. I'm not, I guess, a big believer in Christian Foley. I don't think he won't. I'm not a huge cat that he's a secret weapon. But I think with a guy like Mike Riley, I like that. Mike Riley's a very intelligent hockey player. Foligne's a little bigger. I think they're really gonna fit well with one another. I'm excited to see it. Obviously, they're the third pairing. At best, we're gonna probably see them on the ice for 8-9 minutes, maybe tonight.
12.
Total. Excuse me. Yeah, total.
Let's not go 8 or 9.
Let's not get too optimistic here. I mean, and only you'd maybe only see Riley get maybe a few more if they decide maybe try him out on the power play because his game is suited to that. But yeah, you're not going to see a whole lot of them. But I'm excited to see what those two can do together. I think we're getting to show off and we're getting to see the young defensemen and all of these players we have in the wings. I mean, that are getting big shots now, and guys like Nate Prosser gets scratched, which I think is a pretty big. I mean, that kind of surprised me because I feel like Nate Prosser plays a game that Torch would like, and then him and Chris Porter are scratched. I was surprised. I was honestly surprised to see those two out of the lineup. So I'm happy to see the players that are in it.
Yeah, I am too. Like I said, I think he knows that one, we need to score some goals. It's like if we score a goal, it's off a lucky bounce. It's not really off a created shot or a hard working goal. It's always like the power play goal scored against Washington. Dumba was laying on top of the puck and Mikko Koivu kind of poke checked it in, and then the goal against Boston, the first goal was just kind of redirected to Vanek with Gustafsson out of the net. So I feel like he knows that you need to instill offensive shoot first guys into the lineup, and he said that too. I think that's why you do put a guy like Fontaine insert eye roll here,
Mhm.
into the lineup, even though he's on the fourth line. I like Jarrett Stoll on the fourth line. He's
Love it.
on the
Yep,
fourth
that's where
line.
he's supposed to be.
That's where he's supposed to be. Exactly. When I saw the pairing, the Foley and Riley pairing, I kind of scratched my head, and I'm not crazy about it. I'm obviously open to anything. But you, it kind of reminds me of like a young Scandella, young Spurgeon pairing. I mean, Scandella
Yes.
was really raw,
Yes.
big body, not the best skater at the time, and had a big shot, kind of like Foline. Riley's this undersized guy who, is being utilized on the power play. It makes you kind of look back a little bit, to and it makes you think of what it could possibly be. But then again, who knows? It could fizzle out. As far as Nate Prosser goes, Nate Prosser knows his role, and he's
Yeah.
he's a sixth or seventh defenseman. He's a gamer. He can get called in anytime to play, play when he needs to. And I think Torchetti's going to figure out what works best, and it's do or die time with him now. So I think he knows that a change is needed. So if he's gonna do that, do it now. I'm all for any change he wants to do right now. I knew it was really hard for Fletcher to fire Yo. I saw those. It was on Twitter. Michael Russo was tweeting pictures of Chuck Fletcher after the Boston game for almost 20 minutes, just staring at the ice after the game had ended. I think he was kind of realizing in his head, like, this is, okay, I got to prepare myself to go fire Mike Yo right now. So he brought him in. I like the signing. I like the line combos. Oddly enough, we're favored tonight to win, according to Vegas. So
Yeah, I saw that. That's great.
Yeah, which is interesting. So let's hope that goes well. We can get the ball rolling with a big win tonight. That we desperately need.
We desperately need it. Well, let's go back to the lineups that were made up tonight. I mean, obviously Torch doesn't have a very familiar. He knows his hockey, but he doesn't really have a great grasp on this team yet. I'm guessing the assistant coach has kind of helped him put together the best capable lineup. I think you're necessarily going to see, because Mike Yeo is infamously known for this. I don't think you're going to see players being switched around too much tonight, but I think you're going to see darts at the wallboard for games. I don't think you're going to see a lot of in-game switching from him. And I like the second line of Granlund, Zucker, and Vanek. I think that's fantastic. Thomas Vanek is just resurfacing again as public enemy number one in the Minnesota hockey world. The guy's on a 4-game point streak, and yet, darn it, Thomas, quit being such a jerk, is just the mantra that I guess he possesses for whatever reason. He was brought in here to score offense. He's doing that. Yes, I understand. He's not shooting the puck a lot. There's certainly more moments where he should be shooting the puck. And if you're playing with a guy like Mikhail Granlund, I think he will start taking those shots. And I think
agree.
Torch is, Torch is someone that I think also another voice that can say, "Hey, Tom, why don't you shoot that puck now?" I mean, Yo has had conversation with him, Brunette and Sador, and everyone probably has had. Wilson's had conversation with Thomas to shoot the puck more. But you give a worker like Jason Zucker, and even though I don't love him, but Mikhail Granlund room to play with a puck. Yeah, Thomas Vanek is, I think, going to start putting the bread in the biscuit a little bit more. I'm going to make a bold call.
Biscuit in the basket. Biscuit in the basket.
Game winning goal is from 2-6.
Oh wow!
The game winning goal tonight against Vancouver.
Our second broadcast, I predicted that Vanek would make it to 30 goals. So that was obviously 3 weeks ago now. So I apologize for that brash statement. I think it was been
quite remarkable.
I mean, he's got 15 now, right? 15. So 15 in 28 games.
He's going to have 25 goals again. I get it. Yeah. He was brought in here at an awkward time, I think, in his career. Clearly, the better days were behind him, and everyone was just assuming that a 32-year-old would play like he's, back at Mariucci scoring goals for the Gophers.
Yeah.
And, and by the way, he also had this mantra of, he's a great player. He's not a great two-way player.
No.
This whole thing of him not back-checking is not new. He played like that at the U of M. He played like that in Buffalo. He played like that briefly in New York and Montreal. That's how he plays. And yes, he's not the sniper he once was when he was 24 years old, but he's not Danny Heatley. He's not necessarily a liability when he's skating. He's got a hell of a better mind than almost a lot of the Wild players do offensively. He has a good offensive mindset. It's just sometimes you'd like to see him shoot more. I mean, he doesn't turn over the puck too much.
Yeah.
He's not gonna Zach Parise and work it in the corner, but was brought in here to score offense. And newsflash, he is scoring offense. Because he's not getting 40 goals, I'm sorry, but he is producing.
Oh yeah. He is producing. I am a little disappointed. I thought that maybe he had a 30-goal season left in him, and he's got 1 year left on this contract. You know what I'm interested in? I wonder if he starts getting dangled next year. He's got a very high cap hit, but he could be a good rental player next year.
And
for a team.
I think he also does have a no move clause, which would be a little difficult, obviously, to do so. And people like to say, so bear with me here, but buy out Pominville or buy out Koivu. A buyout would sink us deeper and deeper into a problem. I.e., Mark Parrish, the old color commentator that sits in the same press box as the college kid. Okay, so I don't think a buyout is the rightful option. No disrespect to Mark Parrish either. I didn't mean that in a disrespectful way. But
no, I don't think you do buy him out. And everyone, I don't get it because everyone who calls for those Koivu and Pominville buyouts, you're not watching the game. Pominville, yeah, I get that. I get that frustration there, but I feel like Pominville is probably, and I'm not just being like a homer here because I've been very, very hard on Pominville. I feel like he's having just the unluckiest season of all time. Like, one, he's not playing with a lot of confidence. I get that, but he's shooting at a 2.6 shooting percentage. I mean, that is like the league average is 7%. To be shooting 5% lower than the league average, you don't step away 2 seasons from a 30-goal season for us and just forget how to shoot the puck. It's just bad puck luck, which happens sometimes. But no, you don't buy him out. That only it spreads out the cap for twice the amount of the remaining years on the contract at the time of the buyout at half the cap hit. It's a stupid move. GMs hate to do it, for the record. They hate to do it. I promise you.
You're literally paying for the guy to not play for your team.
Yeah, that'll never happen. Mikko Koivu, you'll never see him in a Wild sweater as long as in a different hockey sweater than the Wilds, as long as this contract is still active. I'll say that right now. I still think he'll probably re-sign even after at a lower rate because he'll be like 35. But no, it's not happening anytime soon, and it's a terrible move that would only hurt our team. Every time I'm ranting because every time I hear a buyout comment for one of those two players, it blows in my mind. And every time someone makes a comment about Jason Pominville, I can't believe we signed that contract. He scored 30 goals for us the year that contract got the year after, a couple months after he signed that contract, and everyone was like, "Oh man, Chuck Fletcher's a genius." So I don't know. I'm trying to give Pominville a little slack. Obviously, it's frustrating right now, but you know what? I'm just tired of being frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm tired of being frustrated.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we had to make a big head coaching change, and hopefully it is figure something out for the Wild because, 8 in a row, 14 of 15 or whatever the devil it is, it's been brutal. It's been brutal to watch, and the Wild have a Cinderella game tonight. You're obviously listening to this podcast before the game or even between the periods, so it'll be should be a pretty good Wild game and a new era. I'm excited. Do you think Chuck Fletcher is on the hot seat? Do you think Fletcher knows that, hey, if we only play 500 hockey down the stretch or below it again, I'm probably out of here too? Do you think Fletcher is starting to feel the pressure too?
I would be upset if Fletcher got moved.
You're a big Chuck Fletcher guy. You love Chuck Fletcher.
Chuck Fletcher has a great hockey mind. You won't talk to anyone in management circles who don't hold a high opinion of him. He built. You look at the majority of this roster. He put it together. He's the one who signed Mike Yeo, for the record, and he's the one. He also signed Todd Richards. I get that. But he brought a lot of these players in and drafted a lot of these players and engineered a lot of these trades that has put together a team that is a very capable, very, very dangerous team, the past 2 months notwithstanding. So I feel like, yeah, he's probably feeling a little bit of heat, but I would be very disappointed if he got the boot. He signed Jonas Brodin, Marco Scandella, and Nino Niederreiter to very cap-friendly contracts. He engineered the Devin Dubnyk trade at a time when kind of everyone counted out Devin Dubnyk. I don't see why he would get the boot for one bad year. I get the expectations were so high, but I feel like Yo has probably fallen on that sword, and I don't think, even if we miss the playoffs, I don't think Fletcher gets the boot, because I don't think you need to clean the cupboard for that to happen.
Yeah, I think some media is taking this firing as, well, you know what, Fletcher should be out too. This should be Leopold making this move to not just fire, not fire Yo, but he should fire Fletcher. It's Fletcher who signed these extensions. It's Fletcher. This team, his handpicked roster is still not gotten past the second round of the playoffs, which I don't know why is such a huge problem. We're not the Twins. We're not getting swept in the divisional round. Like, we're winning a playoff series. And newsflash, the Wild, in half the time, have already won more playoff series than the Minnesota Timberwolves in town. So why is it that I understand it's because the Blackhawks beat us all 3 times and twice in the second round, but that's not a bad thing. It's not. You don't just build a dynasty right there and it's just going to work like that. I mean, I have no problem with yes, last year's playoff exit stunk, but that wasn't indicative on Chuck Fletcher. And the only thing I'll say this about Fletcher. His biggest flaw to me is I don't think he is very good at picking the players to develop, picking the players, drafting players. I think he struggles with that a little bit. I really do. And that is something that I think could be.
You have a problem. You have a problem with Jonas Brodin's development. Do you have a problem with Marco Scandella's development? Charlie Coyle's?
Like I said, he's got somewhat on him, but recently, I mean, right now, organizationally wise, I'm not huge on a lot of. I'd like
give me an example. Give me an example, because I disagree with you. I don't.
I mean, how far away is Alex Tuch from being NHL ready?
I think he competes for a job next year.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. And then how about all the terribleness that's happening in Iowa? That stems from poor drafting.
I feel like that stems from trading draft picks away and your guys graduating. Guys like Chuck Coyle, right. Eric Halla, Marco Scandella, Jonas Brodin, all those guys graduated. Johan Larsson was traded as part of the Jason Pominville trade. All that was part of, guys graduating and picks being traded away, which, we've acknowledged on this broadcast that, not this one, but, in the past that the cupboard's been stripped, and he knows that. And that's why I think the trigger never got pulled on a trade this year, because I think, some of the younger guys were the ones being brought up. I know Brent Flahr, the assistant GM, does a lot of the drafting and scouting for the team, which is great, understandably. But he's also the GM of the Baby Wild, not Chuck Fletcher. So I don't think Fletcher gets all the fall for that, in all fairness.
That's it's a good point. I agree with you. I agree with you that Chuck Fletcher should not be the scapegoat here. Now that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if he was let go. I wouldn't be surprised by it.
Oh no, I agree with you.
I don't think he'll be let go. I really don't. I understand why people are taking it, but I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he'll be let go, and I think he's sitting fine right now, because as of right now, I think him and Leopold are discussing what's the state of this team, and we got to let this play out. We needed to find a coach. We brought up a new one. You need a GM for that, and I like what Chuck Fletcher has done there. I think it's going to work out. Yeah,
and I'm trying to see past my optimism here, just because I'm so giddy that a change was made. But I feel like it was a smart move, and I feel like it was the right move to bring in a Torch and not a guy like Guy Boucher. I think a lot of people were calling for Randy Carlisle or even Adam Oates.
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't like either one of those hires for our team. When you have a limited amount of games remaining for a team that should make the playoffs and you need them to get their ass in gear, with a quickness, you bring in a guy who's familiar with the team, and that's what they did. But yeah, Fletcher, I agree with you. If he got shocked, I wouldn't be floored. I would be vastly disappointed. But I think Leopold is obviously, a little fed up. I think he knows that Zach Parese's best days are probably behind him, and he's still paying him a lot of money. Suter defensemen age a little better than forwards do, especially 5'10" ones who battle in the corners. So I could see the owner's frustration there, but I don't think you lose Fletcher. I think that would be a boneheaded move.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that's. I think he's also done. Yeah, the goods don't or the bads don't outweigh the good by any means. There is some bads. I certainly see some bads, but he's done too many good things in my opinion, and we're not at that stage yet where I think we can just firmly hit the reset button. I know some people say it's possible. I can somewhat see it happening. I can see your side with it, but I just don't believe that will be the case for the Wild season right now. You need turning points in your season. Hopefully tonight in Vancouver is one of them. I mean, it's similar to Buffalo last year, a softer team, and that's not performing very well. Vancouver's not nearly as bad as how horrible the Sabres were a year ago this time. But this is the game you got to figure it out, because we're picking right back up again, as we talked about in the last podcast, that you got top 4 teams waiting at you. You got a ton of teams waiting to come after you that are playoff teams right now. So get it in gear. Get it in gear. It starts with Vancouver tonight.
Yeah, it absolutely does. I hope that they pull together a win. I feel like it would be such a confidence boost, just for everyone, and not that it's Mike Yo's fault, but I almost wonder if it'll, create this placebo effect, just kind of like, oh my God, we won. Oh, Mike Yo was the problem. All right, we got it. Don't worry. So I could see that that happening, but yeah, if we lose tonight, I'm not going to be shocked, because Torches loses tonight. It's like, oh, what's an adjustment period? We get it. I think what you want to see tonight is you want to see the effort level, because the effort level against Boston was so terrible that I think that's kind of what was Mike Yo's problem. So if the effort level is high and we lose, I won't be happy, but it's a step in the right direction. You're not going to be able to show everyone all of the changes you're going to make to the team in one game either. So
very true. Very true. Anything else happening around the NHL world?
There is. Jaromir Jagr turned 44 today.
Yay!
Yeah, turned 44 today. And you know what? I was thinking to myself, Jaromir Jagr took 3 years off from the NHL in the early 2000s. 1 year after winning the Art Ross and the Hart Trophy. So, he went and played in the KHL, and I think he realized that the compete level wasn't the same. So he came back, and he's playing. He's not leading the league in scoring, but he's also not a pushover. He's still, every once in a while he makes a move, or a shot, and you're like, oh man, like there it is. And he's climbing up these point, totals. And it's it got me thinking, if Jaromir Jagr, two-part question. At this age, Jaromir Jagr is most likely going to break Gordie Howe's record for most goals scored after the age of 44, which is 15 goals. It's not like some monumental feat. So he'll break that. But he also played in 3 eras of hockey. He played in the early 90s, which, was still kind of wide open. He played in the mid-90s to the early 2000s, which was the dead puck era. And then he played the post-lockout, which was, this where they opened the game back up a little bit more. And he thrived in all 3 eras. So I'm curious if he played, if he goes in the draft the same year Gretzky does, I almost wonder if he's a better talent than like a Gretzky or even a Lemieux.
So you're just I know you're obviously not saying that Jaromir Jagr is better than Wayne Gretzky. I get that.
No, I'm saying if they play during the same era, does Jagr end up with the number one, with the most points? Is if he plays in that high octane 80s, offensive scheme?
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I really don't. I think Wayne was just so freaking good at hockey, and Jaromir Jagr is obviously
and I agree,
very good at hockey.
but he continues to do well. It doesn't stop. Like everyone's wondering, like, when is he gonna hang it up? But he's still contributing. He's not just like some veteran like glue guy who plays like 6 minutes a game on the fourth line and like can kill a penalty. Like, no, like he plays on their power play unit. Like he's mentoring these young guys.
He's 44 years old.
Yeah, he's 44 years old. Like that's mind blowing to me. Like you don't see that in any other sport. You see it in baseball, sure, but like baseball is such an isolated athletic event. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You don't gotta be in shape to play baseball.
No, you don't. You don't. And Jaromir Jagr is still in shape. He's still a mule. So, I mean, it just got me thinking. I mean, where does he really sit on the best players of all time? I think a lot of people, Marc Messier is number 2 on the points list, but really, like, people kind of think Wayne Gretzky, Gordie Howe, and then maybe Bobby Orr. I don't know. It just makes me think. I wonder if Jaromir Jagr should be higher on that list. And right now it's hard to put it in perspective because he's still playing. So maybe a couple years after he retires, which is probably going to be in 15 years with the way he's playing right now. I wonder where he'll stand, because his production is obviously limited by stepping away from the game for 3 years and for playing in the dead puck era. So I don't know. I wanted to know what your input was on that. I mean, no, I'm not saying is he better than Gretzky. But where does he stand all time?
I think when you boil it down, I think he's top 10, and I think he's probably
top 10. Yeah, no, I think he's top 10 now.
Yeah,
he's top absolutely. 10 now.
Yeah, I know he is. But I think
but is he top after he retires? After he retires, is Jaromir Jagr a top 5 player?
No,
of all time?
Don't think so. I don't think so.
Name your top 5 for me. Not to put you on the spot, but name your top 5 for me.
I would go Gretzky.
Starting with number 1. You starting with number 1.
I know. Just don't go in order. I guess I don't want to limit it, but I'm just naming players that are better than Gretzky. I'd go Orr, Gordie Howe, Bobby Hall. I mean, Bobby Hall. I would
Bobby Hall
up there. Yeah, I put Bobby Hall up there.
Huh. All right. No, nothing wrong. It's your top 5.
I would really what I really would have liked to see is if Mario Lemieux played till he was 44. I mean, I would love to, because I think Mario is also better than Jaromir Jagr.
See, I disagree.
He definitely doesn't, obviously by default, and because it wasn't need to play till he's 44, but he doesn't have the points maybe. But I think Mario Lemieux will have a better mainstay than Jaromir Jagr if you're trying to boil down top players ever.
I agree.
Like I said, I think he's 6. I think Jagr's like a 6'7".
6'7". Yes. Wow.
Yes.
See, maybe it's because I don't know. I feel like the transition over the years, over all this time, has some merit. If you're able to adapt, that says something, right? I mean,
that does.
I mean and I'll say this: he's only 8 points away from Gordie Howe, on the all-time scoring list. And Gordie Howe played in a time where there was defense wasn't even a word. So
no, it's a very good question, man. It's a very, very good thought. Little food for thought. I liked it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I probably put Jaromir Jagr as 3.
Really?
Yeah, I would. I'd put him above Gordie Howe.
Oh.
I think if you're talking the best players to ever play, it goes Gretzky, Lemieux, Lemieux and Yager, I could see that as a 2 and a 2A even. And then Howe. And then fifth, probably Bobby Orr.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm just saying. It's an interesting little tidbit, a little food for thought, something to get your brain going for, and distracted away from all this wild drama that we've had to endure.
For the lack of a better word. Yes,
Yeah.
that's very true. Well, all right, man. Good hockey podcast again. Lost in the Wild. We're on episode 4, looking for our first win on this podcast. I think maybe once we get the first win, we should just do a show just to commemorate it. But also part of me likes the waiting period of going to Monday. Hey, did we win yet? Because that's literally what has happened the 4 times we've recorded. Because I'm like, oh, no, we'll win. We'll win at least one. No, it's a game. It's a game, and I don't think we can stop it. So I guess we'll have to wait again until next Monday to see if the Wild figure this out.
Yeah, we do. But I got a good feeling. We're going to Vancouver. We're going to Calgary. Going to Edmonton. It's a Western Canada swing. Not the best of teams. Get some confidence rolling here. Get our feet wet with this new coach. I kind of want a 3-on-3 overtime to take place. Torch said he was going to implement, guys like Hala, Zucker, Granlund on the 3-on-3 a little bit together, and or even Mike Riley. So I'd like to see that, instead of the the Koivu, Chuck Coyle, Ryan Suter 3, which nothing against any 3 of those players, but neither one of them are blazing speed kind of guys. So
what?
I'd like to see that.
I don't mean to get another topic as we're trying to wrap it up, but I would love to see Nino Niederreiter play more on the penalty kill. I mean, he plays, he gets out there, but I don't think he's utilized nearly enough. Nino Niederreiter is just this humongous cat who plays well against the boards as I think anyone in the league, if not one of the best players against the boards in his league, and uses his size well. I would love to see him more on the penalty kill, more of a threat.
Sure. Yeah, no, I could get down on that. Absolutely. Yeah, he's a big body. He drives possession. I'm a Nino fan.
Yeah.
But
I don't think he'll, I think he kind of maybe stalled, or not stalled, but gave Minnesota kind of a false impression when he first got here, because he kind of scored a lot of goals really quickly in his first couple of years with us, and it's kind of crazy because he's, I think, in year 3 or 4 with us now. But he is what the Wild traded for. They traded away flipping Cal Clutterbuck, who was this weird player that shot a ton of shots, hit a lot of people, maybe good for 12 to 15 goals a year. That's it. And Nino might only score 12 to 15 goals, but my God, is he a hell of a lot more put together hockey player than Cal Clutterbuck ever has been or ever will be or ever is.
Yeah. I think that he could be a lot more dangerous player than what he's showing right now. I think that Nino Niederreiter and Jason Zucker falls into this category. Those are 2 guys who fall into the 30 goals, 17 to 20 assists. They're not pass first guys. I think they're very dangerous snipers.
I don't think they're 30 goal scorer. I think Zucker could be possibly a 30 goal scorer. I don't think Nino Niederreiter in his wildest fantasies will ever be a 30 goal scorer.
I disagree. I think he came dangerously close last year, and I think, besides some severe inconsistencies this year from the entire team, I think he could definitely take that step. And
as of right now, by the way,
he's 24.
Yep. Oh yeah, he's young. 23.
23.
Yeah. He's a young pup, just 3 months older than me. Right now, Nino Niederreiter 9 goals on the year. Cal Clutterbuck 11. So just a little hilarious food for thought there. Not that I'm comparing; they're completely different players. I still cannot believe we somehow pulled a magic trick and got Cal Clutterbuck for Nino Niederreiter. No idea how that worked. But just kind of a little funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Well, you get the last word, and go Wild. Yeah, go Wild.
Yeah, go Wild. 4 times a charm. We said that last week with the 3rd time. Going into Vancouver tonight. It's a late start. Stay up. Throw on the game, with a smile on your face. This is optimism time. Optimism time.
Yes.
I'm so sick of being sad. I'm so sick of being frustrated and angry. I want to enjoy my hockey team. And I'm pleading to the Wild, but I'm also pleading to the fan, because the negativity on Twitter and social media it's not helping. You're not helping anything. Let's throw out some positivity. Let's throw some positive vibes to our team here. Let's go into Vancouver and get a desperately needed win. Go Wild.